Hey, welcome to another installment of Catching Up. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
I'm Josh.
And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about this week, don't we, gang? There's been a lot of developments on the geeky front.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I mean, we got a lot of ground to cover. A lot of trailers. You know, Chris and Josh had their own separate adventures. We all saw, Ex Machina. So let's just kind of dive right in. Chris, I think the first thing that happened in all of this was, you went off to Anaheim.
Yeah, I escaped and I went off to Star Wars Celebration Anaheim or Star Wars Celebration 7, depending on who you ask. Just a big blowout of a whole bunch of Star Wars nerds. It was really fun. A whole lot of talk about Episode 7, of course, because that's coming out later this year. And like Mark Hamill was there, Carrie Fisher was there, Kenny Baker, Anthony Daniels, Peter Mayhew. I don't know why I forgot Peter Mayhew. He was one of the guys that I got an autograph from, and he's my boy. Ian McDermott. A whole slew of people that were like just random extras. The guy that said the stormtrooper that they did the Jedi mind trick, and he was like, "Oh no, these aren't the droids we're looking for." He was there, Billy D. Williams was there too. I wish I had known he was going to be there because I would have brought my Batman Laserdisc with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got to meet Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Peter Mayhew specifically because I treated myself. Got autographs from them.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, they autographed my Laserdisc box set.
That's cool.
And,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you met them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was expensive to meet them because they're all around $100 to get an autograph, each. And then
what was the interaction like? Was it just like a real quick like, "Hey, oh my God, you're the man, and I love you"?
It was a slight range. It was a slight range. So the first one I went to was Peter Mayhew because out of the three of them, he had the shortest line. And actually, I think I chose like the perfect time to go to Peter Mayhew because there was only like 5 people in front of me.
I saw him in Baltimore last year.
Yeah, he was supposed to be at AwesomeCon last year, but he got sick. So thank God he was able to make it to Star Wars Celebration. But yeah, like the next day was when everyone was there apparently for Peter Mayhew. So I got in perfect timing. But like he's still like not that great condition. So like I tried to like make a little bit of small talk, be like, "Hey, we're both giants," that kind of shit. And he was just like, like not blowing me off, but like also just didn't look like he had the energy to like just start talking to me. So he gave me my autograph. I was like, "Oh well, thank you for coming," all that jazz, being polite. And then the lines for Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher were ridiculous. Specifically Carrie Fisher, like no fault of her own. Like I know that she's had like her various histories, with both drug abuse and various like anxieties and stuff like that. So she has to take a lot of breaks to kind of like refocus herself, which means the line for her autographs backs up a lot. And I think they ended up stopping selling her autographs earlier than everyone else, and she was still one of the last stars to get through her autographs just because she had to take so many breaks. One of the people that I met there was talking about being in her line and having waited like an hour just to get like near the front, and then she just saw this one girl who was dressed up as Slave Leia and like really hot chick, and was like, it like pulled her out of line and was like, come everyone, look at this gorgeous woman, and like spent like 20 minutes just like talking about her and like not signing autographs, not doing anything else, just focusing on this random cosplayer, and like understandably a lot of people in that line were miffed about it because then she had to run off and do like a photo op or something like that, and then didn't get back to her autograph line for like another hour or two. And these people were just stuck waiting, for her to come back because they don't want to leave the line that they've been waiting in. But by the time I got to her, she was very apologetic. She had realized that she was, I guess, wasting a lot of people's times. So when I got up to her, she was like, "Oh, thank you for waiting so long. I'm so sorry, that's taking forever to get through this." And by the time I got up to her, and also like my wait in line wasn't that bad. When I finally got around to going up to her, I only had to wait like an hour to just sift through the queue that they had set up, but it was a relatively, moving line. so by the time I got there, I was like, hey, thank you for being here, and I'm so glad that you're bound to acting that she's in it.
Loved you on 30 Rock.
Yeah. Chance on the Bob Strike Back. Yeah.
Was that was it a sorority house or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, it was like I Know What You Did Last Summer, but worse, and completely with sorority girls.
Oddly enough, with the girl who played
Sorority
Jennifer
Row.
Love Hewitt's. No, not sorority. It's maybe it is Sorority Row.
Yeah, I can't think of any. Other.
No. Black Christmas.
Black Christmas is
No, that's someone else. That's
Yeah.
Margot Kidder.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Yes, sorority. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where she's like the house marm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she gets like annihilated in that movie.
Yeah.
Annihilated.
Yeah.
In
But yeah,
more
how
ways than one.
how was Mr. Hamill?
But Mark Hamill was the best out of the three of them. He's the one that's still got the most energy, and he's the one that's still the most excited about the fans and stuff like that. Like I went up to him and like my thing was, first and foremost, thanking him for being there, and then went right into I love that you came back for the trickster in The Flash.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
thought that was the coolest thing ever. I'm so happy. And then of course episode 7, and then like and then he got excited about the Flash, being the trickster. So I completely blanked on, letting him know that he's my favorite Joker, but I'm sure he knows that.
Yeah, he's
'Cause
gotta know
he-
that.
Yeah, he's so Joker
Yeah.
that he has Arkham in his name.
Yeah.
You take away the M from Mark and the ill from Hamill, and it's
Arkham.
Arkham.
Yeah. it was so cool when you I guess you read that online and
Yeah,
were
I think
like,
so. Yeah.
oh my god, guys.
It was kind of like somebody had mentioned that like Joker, like Mark Hamill's so destined to be the Joker, he's got Arkham in his name. I was like, what the fuck are you talking? Oh God.
Oh my god. Yeah. But yeah, it was so he and then he like even like quoted the trickster like
Oh, nice.
when he like when we were my time was up, he was just like run, and I was just like ah.
He's been it's the third time he's been the trickster because he also voiced him on Justice League Unlimited.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen that episode of The Flash yet,
Shame on
treat
you.
yourself. And if you haven't seen the original series of The Flash where he was the trickster,
Double shame on you.
yeah, treat yourself.
And also watch that episode of Justice League Unlimited available on Netflix.
Yeah, for sure. Treat yourself. And then, I met some new people, which was really cool because I got there and realized that the only person that I knew at this entire convention was our friend Kevin, who was off doing, stuff with the 501st Legion. Stuff that I wasn't necessarily interested in doing because while a fan of Star Wars, I'm not a super nerd. I'm not.
You're not a fan to the point where you're like, I'm going to go in a parade like multiple times basically every day.
Yeah, like I didn't want to spend my entire weekend doing 501st activities. Like I enjoyed running into them and seeing them, and it's really cool that they're all about being all dressed up in the charities that they help out with. But that's not how I wanted to spend my 30th birthday, and so I randomly just struck up conversations with people here and there waiting in line for things, and waiting in line for episode 1 and 2 in 3D. I met these cool cats, Sean and Brianne Hemmer. They're really cool. Shout out to them because I think they said they were going to start listening to the podcast.
Shout it out loud.
Woo, shout it, don't get sued by Gene Simmons.
I think you're in the clear.
I feel like if we were gonna get sued,
Right,
by
we
the
would-
Kiss,
It would have happened by now.
They would have sued us for praising them that one
Yeah.
episode
Or
where we spent
hopefully,
like the
if he's
entire
gonna
time.
sue us,
all
at least,
that time you sang the chorus to "Lick It Up."
yeah. If he's gonna sue us, at least come on our show and and talk to
Sue us
and
in
then you
person.
can sue us.
Yeah.
Sue us to our face.
Yeah. Hand us our subpoenas in person,
Yeah.
Paul and G.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you
so,
gotta hang out with
I
them.
got to hang out with them. They took me
We
out
love you,
to
Paul and G.
yeah, I know, right? Kiss is a great band. But yeah, the met them like the day of my 30th birthday, and they were like, "Well, let's fucking go out to eat dinner. We'll treat." And I was like, "Awesome! These people are all, they're great." They and a couple other people that I met along the way like really made.
Where were they from?
They were from Washington State,
Okay.
so I was like, "Oh, I'm from the other Washington
Yeah.
of the D-Sizzle persuasion."
Jeez, I've never even heard of that
Yeah.
one.
Way to represent East
Yeah,
Coast.
right.
Yeah.
Well, at least I didn't call it the DMV. I think that's
Oh, the
Terrible.
DC Metropolitan.
no, the DC, Maryland, and
Virginia.
Virginia. Yeah. No, the DMV is where you go to get your driver's license.
Yeah, for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Dennis Leary referred to it as the devil's asshole.
But yeah, so they made it a lot more fun than it would have, potentially have been. Because if I hadn't started reaching out to people, it would have probably been one of my loneliest weekends ever. Like, regardless of how like surrounded I was by Star Wars, like it's like, oh, no one to share it with.
At least no one that you know.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I got to see episode 1 and 2 in 3D that first night. The second night, I got to see the world premiere of episode 3 in 3D, which I could go on for like almost an entire episode in itself with how good episode 3 looked in 3D.
How does episode 2 look in 3D?
Episode 2 looked fine. Like episode 1, like everyone, like this is the first time I had seen it. I missed it when it was released, nationwide in theaters.
Back,
yeah, because it's episode 1. I don't really care for it. But like I was like, you know what? I have the opportunity. I'm gonna see it, and I'm gonna see all 3 of them. Because I'm a 3D enthusiast. I have several pairs of the 3D glasses that they were handing out right there. I mean, they're regular, just real 3D glasses, but they say Star Wars Celebration on the rim.
I have the Spider-Man ones from Amazing Spider-Man 2. Mm-hmm. They just have like the webbing.
Yeah. So the complaints that everyone had that I had heard complain about the 3D for episode 1 were all pretty well founded. It basically looked like a pop-up book, cardboard cutouts, just like there's depth to it, but everything still looks two-dimensional.
Everything that isn't like complete CGI construction or the text crawl.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the text crawls. As I guess unfortunate as it would be, the text crawl throughout all 3 of them was probably the best part in 3D. But that's also probably the coolest thing to be like awesome in 3D. You know what I'm saying? Because like this is like the moment. Like you're like, oh, the text crawl, oh, and it looks so beautiful. So that was fun. But like they had a guy, the guy that like was in charge of the 3D conversion for episode 3 there, talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, guys, no, I pulled out all the stops for this. Like there are parts where like I even like kind of manipulated the 3D beyond what you would expect. I tried my best to make it like a character in itself in the movie. Like he was talking about like as Anakin falls deeper into the dark side, his eyes get more sunken in because like he gives them more depth and like brings out his like brow and stuff like that. And I was like,
that's
this
metal.
I was like, this is how like post conversion should be done. Like not just tracing, oh, this person's body should be at this depth, but like actually going in and being like, let's manipulate this little bit, like. Yeah, just fine tooth the comb.
Now, could you tell that was going on in the film?
After he said it, I did look for it, and like it wasn't like, oh my god, his eyes are in the back of his head, but like
he has no eyes. He's walking around like you're gonna try.
But no,
the singularity in his face.
But no, I will say that chances are okay. You probably wouldn't notice it if you didn't know to look for it. But because I was looking for it, I was like, you know what? I can kind of tell that, like, his face, kind of like changed shape beyond just the makeup that I remember from seeing episode 3 the last time I saw episode 3, straight. So like there was a noticeable change in it, but not necessarily, oh, I can see that his eyes are sunken in. But it was still like an interesting artistic choice that did affect the final product.
Especially when you get the close-up of him on Mustafar where his eyes are colored differently.
That shot was like terrifying, and like a couple episodes ago you asked me, about like movies that make me tear up because you guys were talking about like Field of Dreams and stuff like that. Like that moment, more than anything else, like as much shit as I give the prequels, like that Mustafar in general, like that kind of gets me to be like, because it's like such a heart-wrenching moment. Like you see Obi-Wan like just like, okay, I can't save you.
I tried.
I did my best.
You were the chosen one.
Yeah, that. Oh God. Whew.
You were my brother, Anakin, and I loved you.
Yeah.
I hate you. I hate you. Oh, catches on fire.
I remember seeing that
you
in
were
the theater.
supposed to break You were supposed to bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness.
I remember when like he's just like, I hurt you, and then he just catches on fire. I was just like, this is so dark.
It was fucking metal.
Like we used to come up with these like ideas of how he turns into him on the playground. Never in a million years was it a stump man like on fire. I was like, Jesus.
We were always like he was hanging on, like because we talked about it on the playground too. Like he was hanging on to the edge of a volcano. He inhaled too many fumes, and it fucked up his lungs. And yeah, I'm sure we, as like 6-year-olds, were like, it fucked up his lungs.
Yeah, his lungs got all mucky. Ew.
But yeah, so that was pretty. Now I think the big thing to come out of Star Wars Celebration, of course, we can all kind of speak to this though. Chris, you saw it drop that weekend. The trailer.
The trailer.
Woo-hoo.
Oh,
Well, which trailer?
We'll talk about both.
Okay.
We'll talk about both. But of course, to answer your question, Josh, let's start with the Force Awakens trailer.
yeah, episode 7.
Battlefront can come later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna
and
talk about
Rogue,
One.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which-
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's a
I'll-
tease.
I'll get to that. But yeah, no. They ended up showing the Force Awakens trailer like at least 10 times just in my presence. Throughout the course of the
You're
weekend.
like,
But it was
Chris, turn around.
They come up to you with like
Chris.
tablets and laptops. They're
Yeah.
like, here it is.
You're like, Mr. Nolan. Be like,
Mr. Nolan, your
yes.
private viewing.
And you're just like, I approve.
Yeah. Okay, we'll be back in 45 minutes, Mr. Nolan.
For your 7th viewing today.
Mr. Nolan, we there's another viewing in 10 minutes.
And it's all guys dressed up like the THX cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Chrome cops.
Yeah.
Mr. Nolan. Yeah.
But yeah.
In the urinal, in the bathroom, there's a knock on the door. Mr. Nolan, your 7:00 showing of the Force Awakens trailer.
Yes. Yes.
Indubitably, yes.
Pinkies up.
Mr. Nolan, you must be plugged in for this one. So you can feel the full effect.
Yes.
This one's filmed in 5G.
Sit in your D-box chair, sir.
We have to shove this pick up your ass just so you can feel the clenching extreme.
We're measuring your ass clenched to see how much this emotionally
Ooh,
touched-
Mr. Nolan, this showing was a little more clenchy than the last showing, Mr. Nolan.
off the Richter.
We noticed that you felt the John Williams score in this one because you clenched up at every bass beat.
Right when Han Solo says, Chewie, we're home, you broke our meter.
Yeah. Maximum clenching.
We also noticed that your underwear was dampened with all the semen that was just spraying out of your penis.
We took many samples, Mr. Nolan, for your future children, Mr. Nolan.
Yes, you will be happy to hear that in episode 8 and 9, your clones will
Yeah.
be in the movie
Yeah.
from the semen samples of your
Our army
green-up
will be
trailer.
masterful, Mr. Nolan.
Number one way to get me to cry, laugh so hard I cry. Just keep talking about semen.
Off the charts, Mr. Nolan.
So if we had a clinchometer in you right now, Sam, what would it be registering?
It's pretty tight. It's pretty tight. Yeah.
Ripe for the picking, you would say?
Oh, it's always ripe, but now it's like that perfect like red delicious. But that was a really fucking good trailer.
Yeah, great trailer.
So that's how I felt about the trailer.
Do you gentlemen have any?
Tears
Yeah.
in my eyes.
Do you gentlemen have any thoughts on the Star Wars Episode 1 trailer? Semen or anuses may or may not be involved.
It honestly just felt like a regular Star Wars trailer at this point.
So awesome, right?
I feel like you're bringing it down.
Yeah, Charlie Brown.
Well, I mean, I'm someone who saw the trailers for the prequels and thought, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. Star Wars is coming back. And then I saw the prequels and thought, oh, well, shit.
But
Star Wars came back.
But the prequels didn't have Han Solo.
True.
True.
And the best prequel has Chewbacca.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And none of the prequels were directed by J.J. Abrams.
None of them have the Millennium Falcon either.
Yeah, that is also true. But then again, also none of these films have had Dash Rendar proper.
We'll never see Dash Rendar. He doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because
Just like Anakin Skywalker,
yeah.
as said by Uncle Owen in The New Hope.
So
Yeah.
there is, I don't know. I mean,
no, Ben Kenobi doesn't exist anymore. Sorry.
I mean, you know,
I know someone was starting an email right there.
Yeah. Okay. Backspace. I'll get him for something else.
I will say Star Wars
Back
is
to the
great,
semen comments.
you know, but when I heard about what Rogue One was going to be about, I got more excited for that.
I will say that sounds exciting, and we'll talk about it as soon as we're done with the Force Awakens.
But Force Awakens was just like, okay, great. You know, we're continuing the trilogy, you know, the original one forward now.
I mean,
Let's see how it turns out.
It's pretty. What I like about this trailer is it ties it more to the original trilogy, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think what Josh is saying, and I can respect it. You've been burned by the prequels, and you're trying to not get your hopes up.
Been burned by a certain volcano.
Hell hath no fury, like a Josh Butler scorned.
Yeah,
and of course, but you have
or
to keep
a
in
Stephanie
mind.
Brown spoiler.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind that it's not George Lucas burning you this time. If anything, it's J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, and we saw how well he did Star Trek.
I have to say, it's a little weird scene.
You're not inspiring confidence.
I did that just for you, Sam.
Yeah, but you know, Chris, you bring up a great point. It's kind of surprised to see someone cheering on a J.J. Abrams sci-fi movie after he did Star Trek, and everyone was like, "Oh my dear God, he ruined Star Trek."
But him talking about the new Star Wars movie, like he's geeking out as much as we are. Like he wasn't doing this for Star Trek. He was just like, "Hey guys, I'm doing Star Trek."
Well, even when he was doing press for both Star Trek films, he's like, I grew up as more of a Star Wars guy, but watching the friendship, as I was doing research for these films and seeing the friendship between Kirk and Spock, that's what drew me in. And if you watch those films, that really is one of the strongest character elements.
Yeah. And him, J.J. Abrams on the stage when they released the original trailer, like just talking about like how like he's bringing it back. He's bringing it back to the roots. Trying to make this movie as close to the original prequels in style and whatnot as possible. Like I tried to stave off like my fanboy-ness. Even that the first teaser, like it was just like shot. I was like, okay, this looks cool. All right. Oh, a cute little soccer ball robot. Oh, all right. And then the fucking Millennium Falcon flies around, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I couldn't help myself. And then, like, this new trailer, hearing, Mark Hamill's, lines from Return of the Jedi, coming in, like, I was just like, oh. And, hearing Mark Hamill talked about doing that at one of the panels that he was on. He talked about how he had J.J. Abrams actually had him come in and re-record those lines so that they could kind of, like, mess with it a little bit. Quick funny anecdote, like he was speaking like, like, I have it, my sister has it, my father has it, God damn it. Because the line is presented before Darth Vader dies, so like he is re-recording it, and he was saying that what you're hearing is the original audio track from Jedi, but then like reverb underneath it is from this new recording because his voice has gotten a little bit deeper. He did the Trickster and the Joker for so long that like it's graveled up his voice a little bit, and it
So does he actually say his father has or had in this new recording?
Has. Because it's rehashing the line from Jedi. Like it's not a new line of dialogue from the new movies. It's just supposed to get your fanboy boner up.
Which apparently did a little more than just that.
It puckered my butt cheeks. The cheeks, not the anus.
To clarify.
Yeah. Jake, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I was at the shop when I was checking Facebook, and just everything was Star Wars. I was like, oh crap. The trailer's dropping, and somebody watched it on a tiny little iPhone, screen. But even that was enough to just put like the biggest smile on your face. You know what's weird about the trailer? Like, there's so many great moments we've pretty much touched. They haven't touched on all of them, but of course, the Harrison Ford stuff, or the Han Solo stuff in the end was fantastic. Oddly enough, the scene that like brought on like this like just wave of emotion and just like wonderfulness into the cosmos was just the line when it says "This Christmas." I don't know what it was about just the holiday season and the John Williams music. Christmas. And I was just like, yeah,
Star
this
Wars
Christmas
is taking Christmas back.
And then you get,
Jingle all the way.
again, my knowledge of Star Wars is only the movies. I'm reading the comics now, but I didn't, and I played the games. But the Sith with like the cool looking mask and like the red lightsaber. I was like, that's my
Kylo Ren. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of looks like Darth Revan from Knights of the Old Republic.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
hold up. Like, Vader's dead, obviously. Yoda's dead. Those are, like, my two favorite dudes. I was like, this is my new favorite person just because they look like a boss. And,
I
like,
just hope they don't pull a Darth Maul on him and kill him off right away.
yeah.
Oh.
But, like, I don't know. I mean,
We don't know who he is. We don't know if he's Dom Hall Gleason, Adam Driver. We
Yeah.
don't know who's playing.
We get, you get the great music. You get that shot of the, like, the stormtroopers, like, exploding. And you see that one guy fly in the air and just hit the ground hard. Like, whoever that guy is, props to you, man. For
got his money's worth.
got smacked
Because
around.
He wasn't CGI.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you see like just shaking of the body when he hits the ground. But I mean, it's, and I love that the first thing you hear, the first remnants of Han Solo is you hear him first, and as soon as like we heard the voice, like it was the black screen, and I was with a couple people in the shop, we all just like turned to each other, we're like, oh yeah. Oh yeah!
Fun little tidbit about the trailer launch. Like, I wasn't actually able to make it into that panel because like there were people camped out before I even arrived at Anaheim.
Before you landed in California.
Yeah, there were already people camped out waiting, to get into to line. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna miss it. And then I heard that it was being simulcast on YouTube, and I was like, okay, cool. I know I have internet in my hotel room, so I'll just watch it there. I'm not gonna make a big stink out of it. And that morning, I set my alarm, open up my laptop. It won't connect to the internet. Like the Wi-Fi is messed up or something. I was like, no. So, like I was like, I know my phone's working because I got 3G or 4G, here. So I too saw it on my cell phone, even though I was there. Luckily,
that's funny.
luckily, like I said, they shoved things up my ass and showed it to me like 10 times a day.
Mr. Nolan, we heard your Wi-Fi wasn't working.
Mr. Nolan.
They're waiting for you in the lobby. They're
Yeah.
just like, yes, sir, it's time for your hourly anal measurement of the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
What does it awaken in you?
Yeah. Oh man, it's so great.
Copious amounts of semen.
Yeah.
They've already
They're just
established.
and like you get the Imperial Red Guards like surrounding them as
Yeah.
you open it and watch it, and they shut it after it's done. We'll see you in an hour, Mr. Nolan.
Yeah. Shuttle code Tiderium. You fly away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a fucking sweet trailer. I
Yeah.
always have a huge grin on my face when I just can't, and I can't suppress it. It's just
I can't help it.
Yeah.
Not all of us have the iron will of Josh Butler.
yeah. Or the iron cynicism.
Yeah.
Sam, you're a little more hitting on the nose right there.
He's like, two things I know for sure. I hate Gotham,
Two
and I'm
things,
not
yeah.
excited for episode 7.
Man, that new Star Wars trailer is so bogus, man.
Yeah.
Not even excited,
Two
even a
thi-
little.
Two things I know for sure. Wookiees are real, and black people don't kill you for your cell phones. Fans of Patton Oswalt know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Good thing that you specified that they don't
Yeah.
kill you for
Yeah,
your
right.
cell
Well,
phones.
that's the
yeah. Yes.
If you know
Yeah.
the bit,
Yeah.
it's a hilarious bit,
Yes.
and it fights racism.
But the fuck racism. But the honestly, Episode 7 is the movie that I've always been most excited for this year, more than the Avengers, more than Batman v Superman when it was originally a 2015 release,
More than Mad Max.
more than Mad Max, more than Jurassic World, more than Terminator Genesis, more than Mission Impossible, more than any of that, more than Spectre. So I'm looking forward to it. Now we've got like as Josh has been alluding numerous times, there was a teaser trailer for the next Star Wars film, Rogue One. So that was just a tease. That didn't even actually have film footage, did it? Because they don't start
Right,
filming
yeah.
until like June.
Yeah, it was like random. If I remember correctly, it was random like scenery, and then like it pans up, and you see like the Death Star from, Endor or Endor 3 or whichever. Yavin. I'm sorry, not Endor. God, Yavin or Yavin.
Backspace,
I know, right?
backspace.
Sorry, that one. Sorry, Sean Hemmer. Nah! But yes, Yavin 3. And yeah, so Rogue One, supposedly, from my understanding, is chronicling the stealing of the plans of the first Death Star, what is later smuggled into R2-D2 in A New Hope. So that'll be exciting, and apparently no Force whatsoever in this movie. It's
Yeah, I mean it's
No-
during a period where there's like lack of Jedi.
yeah, no flights, no tights. To reference.
Well,
Smallville.
and the director kind of went on record to say, this is like us putting the war into Star Wars with this film.
That comes out next year, right?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's going back to the tradition of having a Star Wars movie come out in May, and it's May of next year.
Yeah, I think that based on the Marvel strategy, they're doing smaller films in between the episodes, like every year. So we'll find
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find out what Josh Trank's standalone film is after Fantastic Four, and we'll touch on that trailer in a second too. But there's one more Star Wars related thing. And of course, one last thing about Rogue One, starring Felicity Jones.
Oh yes.
Oh.
I'm in.
Yeah. Felicity Jones. I'm Team Felicity Jones. But the new Battlefront trailer looks gorgeous.
Which I actually did not get to see while I was there, because they actually had Battlefront very much under wraps, even at the convention. You had to wait in a very long line just to, like, you could play it, sort of. Like, they had, like, select...
demo or something?
Yeah, that you could play, and, like, Sean, who I keep alluding to, he got to play it, and he said it's super fun. We ended up going to Dave & Buster's that's in Anaheim that had Battle Pod, which is kind of sort of an arcade version of Battlefront. Same concept. I think it fairly different game, more or less. But it's a flight simulator, and you can pick various big battles from the Star Wars saga. I did the Battle of Yavin, where I'm essentially Luke, but I don't think I'm ever actually like named as Luke. But I'm flying in my X-wing, doing the dogfights on the surface of the Death Star, and then I run into the trench and shoot my photon torpedoes into the exhaust port, and I missed, and they destroyed Yavin 3
and Yavin 4.
They all just shame.
Yavin.
They just shame
all,
you afterwards.
You know what? They just destroyed all of Yavin.
Yeah,
the entire Yavin system.
out of spite.
Yeah, just to make sure that all the rebel scum was destroyed.
In a moment of triumph. Yes.
I love Peter Cushing.
Yeah, though apparently he hated that role.
You know, the radio drama that NPR did of Star Wars afterwards kind of ruined his character.
His stoicism?
Yeah, well, specifically that scene that just in a moment of triumph, because they added a scene that took place right before that where his like second in command, like he has doubts and he's like, do you think I should get my escape pod ready? And then like his second in command is like, no man, you gotta look tough. You gotta
listen, bro.
If you get
man
this,
up, man up. Tarkin.
If you win the Battle of Yavin, then you can like take down the Emperor, because you will have an unstoppable planetary destroying system. You can destroy Coruscant or whatever the fuck
wherever he is.
And he's like, you're right, because it's supposed to be
always
Peter
rolls
Cushing.
the R's.
A beautiful speech.
Yeah, he was a great Van Helsing.
Even though Peter Cushing isn't the one that was doing the voice in the radio play. But then it goes, like that deck officer or whoever it is comes up and he's like, should I prepare your escape pod, sir? And he's like, in our moment of triumph.
Surely you must be joking.
And then the guy who beats him up is like, right on, boss.
Yeah.
Right on. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Good job, Tarkin.
Yeah.
Good job.
And they all
then
get turned
exploded.
into space dust.
Yeah. Ziggy space dust.
Yeah. It's just like enormous. But
so Battle Pod is great. And I don't know if all Dave & Buster's have it, but that one in Anaheim has it. And if you have a chance, go check it out. Also, there's a Batman arcade exclusive car
racing game. Yeah,
it's so good. Check that out too.
And they also have Mario Kart Jeep Grand Prix.
Yeah, the four like Gran Turismo Daytona USA style car racing game things for Mario Kart, and it's awesome.
Only Mario Kart game, or you can be Pac-Man.
Interesting.
Could you? Oh, I didn't
Because
see
why
Pac-Man
not?
as a character.
I even told you that in the text when you texted it to me. You were like,
I was having fun at David Buster's.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
He was
read
being
my
interrupted and watching another trailer viewing.
I was having something shoved up my ass so I could enjoy Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Far be it for me to get in someone's way when they get something shoved up their ass. But yeah, Battlefront, the new Battlefront game looks like fucking money. Because it's just like, and apparently there's no prequel missions. They're just like fuck the.
I saw
EA just has like a giant middle finger.
Well, also no space battles.
No space battles too. Yeah, which is
yeah,
something that was
there it
in
is, right
Battlefront
there.
too.
With Pac-Man.
Yeah. There's the text.
Forgive me for not reading the message that I received from you like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but you seemed surprised when I was like, "It's got Pac-Man." You're like, "Oh, does it?" And it's like, "Yeah, I told you that."
because it didn't. I didn't see it on my screen.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like I would have been like, "Oh, hey,
do
look,
over,
Pac-Man."
do over.
Yeah.
You gotta start over and you do it again.
Yeah. You weren't Pac-Man. God
Yeah.
damn it! Oh,
And also, like,
Pac-Man.
I sent that to you and Zach, and you both responded at the same time. So I was probably like jumping between both of your texts to see what was what.
Well, shame on Zach for not knowing that Pac-Man was like you should exclaim that every time someone plays
yeah.
Mario Kart Grand Prix. Oh, it's got Pac-Man.
You know what? I probably would have remembered it if both of you had said something.
Yeah,
about
like
Pac-Man.
in duplicate.
Yeah.
Pac-Man, but
yeah.
but Battlefront. Oh man, nothing but original. Personally, I would have liked because I think some of the planets in the prequels are cool.
Well, don't count them out just yet because they're tying
It's
it.
always DLC.
Well, I'm getting to that. They're tying it into Episode 7 with the first piece of DLC is the desert planet that is featured in the Episode 7 trailer.
Yeah.
Which is not Tatooine.
Jaka or something.
Yeah.
Something along those
Like
lines. I forget
Jakku
exactly
or
how to.
something like
Yeah,
that.
I think that sounds closer to what JJ
But
said.
already right out of the gate, it sounds like a really great game, but then at the same time, they're making a lot of decisions that just
The
doesn't...
game is like so like not even entirely what I was expecting.
Doesn't even have space battles, you know.
As a gamer...
You know, fool me once with Episode 1, but fool me twice with
I mean,
Battle.
I've been like super into like video game trailers, and then this one came out, and I was like, "We'll get there."
You know what? No, I will say it's nice. It's nice to have an opposing side, a Hannity to our combs.
Yes,
It feels more like a true...
out of all the things.
that way, it's not just us jerking off Battlefront, for the entire episode.
It feels more like
you
a...
say that like it's a bad thing.
It'll still be us three jerking off, but there'll be Josh going back there going, "Ugh, guys."
I don't know
can't
why Josh now has like this like surfer like bro guy. I don't know why that's become Josh's voice.
I'm an FBI agent.
you-" No, shooting up into the air.
To
Sorry,
be fair,
what were
I
you
would
saying?
be that douchebag.
Keanu Reeves
Yeah.
in Point Break.
Johnny
Josh
Utah?
is Keanu Reeves in Point Break.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was in Tucson while we were rubbing shit in your face. But Gary Busey, may you rest in peace. But the
His characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say I don't think.
Yeah, the look on Chris's face is like, what did I miss?
wait
When did he die?
In almost every movie. But
Can I keep
Yeah.
his teeth?
dies so hard in Predator 2.
Does he die hard in Die Hard? No.
If he was in it, I'm sure.
Yeah, he probably would.
But law of averages. The it looks fucking money.
But it doesn't feel like proper fan service. It feels like a pure cash grab business decision. Just to tie in with the film. It doesn't feel like a proper
that's like
thing
everything
being
now.
given
Yeah.
to the
Are you
Star
saying
Wars
just that
fans.
specific DLC, or are you talking about the game in general?
Both.
Because I feel like it's all fan service. It's giving you the opportunity to fight in some of your favorite battles.
That they think are your favorite, and they're
Oh, I'm
cutting-
sorry that they didn't ask you. That they didn't come around and shove a thing up your ass and ask what battles
no,
that you
you
want
Josh,
to
the
fight in.
poll is
You
ready.
guys mentioned that the prequels would have had great planets to have included in the base game.
but-
Not a single one. Absolutely no space battles in this product. Period.
To be
Not
fair,
to
I
be
think-
added on later or anything like that.
I think the space battles, they're saving the space battles for like something in the vein of X-Wing or Rogue Squadron or even TIE Fighter. Yeah, Rogue
Yeah,
Squadron.
maybe when
game.
Rogue One comes out, they'll make another Rogue Squadron game.
That would be.
I've yeah no,
And I feel like that would be a good business decision too.
yeah I've heard people theorize that when that film comes out, it will be the space battle version of
What did you say it would
Battlefront.
be, Sam?
It'd just be so awesome. I mean, the Rogue Squadron games are easily among the best Star Wars games of all time. Particularly, I mean, you look at Rogue Squadron 2 and 3 on the GameCube, and it's fucking money. It's and the cool thing about this is stuff that I really
Titties and money, man. And things shoved up your ass.
Frank
I feel like that's the title of the episode. Titties, money, and things shoved up your ass.
I don't know if that. Well, though, interestingly enough, the most popular episode we have. This is a bit of behind the scenes for you guys at home. Is the one where I mention boners In the title.
yeah.
In the title. That's our
I was
most
gonna say
popular episode.
there's a lot of boner mentions in a lot of things, but yeah, the title specifically.
Yeah, yeah. They were like, "Oh, this got boners," and it's like, "Oh, they only just mention it a few times." God damn it.
Weak sauce.
Yeah, they don't actually have pictures.
This one has graphic portrayal of what happens when things get shoved up your
Yeah.
ass.
And then they realize when listening to the podcast, wait, this isn't visual.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, we don't actually see
What?
the
An
boners.
audio medium doesn't have visuals?
Yeah.
God damn it.
There's no accompanying slideshow? No, sorry.
I tried that with my last podcast, and on certain
Images?
well, like if you listen to it on your iPhone, you could see like instead of just the static logo, like it would have pictures change. But now that I don't have GarageBand, I can't do it on this program.
Yeah.
Of all the audacity
Yeah.
of this program.
We got our eye on you. But the, I mean, no, I fucking love the Rogue Squadron games. They are the pinnacle. That and it's really between, it's between Rogue Squadron and the first Knights of the Old Republic. I never actually played the Old Republic, the MMO, but those are my favorite Star Wars games.
What was it Shadow of the Empire, the one on 64?
With Dash
Yeah.
Rendar.
That one was fun. I like that one a lot.
Yeah. I didn't like the camera in some of
Dash
it.
Rendar.
Yeah,
may he rest
the
in
camera
peace.
could be a pain.
The camera was a pain in the ass. Like there's that one level where you're like in the canyons and one false step will like send
Yeah.
you to your doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that mission blew.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dash Rendar, real quick though, like just because they said that the books and all that shit aren't canon does not necessarily mean that those characters won't show up. Unfortunately, I don't have any like insider information because I was at the convention. But to be totally honest, like big characters like Mara Jade, the twins, the Thrawn, all these people like that. Just because the books are out doesn't mean that these characters can't still make an appearance.
We did get Dash's ship in 4,
The special
right?
edition, yes.
And that's still considered canon. So that's
And that's
like
more
what-
canon than the original theatrical version.
Yeah, until I was really hoping they would announce, a release of the original trilogy unaltered at Celebration, but unfortunately,
Well, like a lot of us were talking about that, and we were like, it makes sense that they don't do it because they just released the altered versions, so like it would be bad form for them business wise to just be like, oh, by the way, the thing that everyone wants, here you go. Like,
have you bought it on digital HD? Awesome. Here, here's the other stuff.
If anything, they'll probably do it like the original DVD releases. They'll put out the special editions and then be like, okay, fine. We'll put out the unaltered versions. So like you get it like a year later. Whatever.
Yeah.
So
In
hopefully
conclusion.
so hopefully like
In conclusion, Star Wars Episode 7 trailer, titties.
Yeah.
Battlefront trailer, money. And Rogue One, things shoved up your ass. In a good way. But yeah, so there's been other trailers and other events. In fact, and speaking of trailers and events, so that was Chris's experiences in the last couple weeks. Josh, you went all the way to Hampton fucking Roads just to watch the first official trailer of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Yes, I did. I found out much later on during the trip that I could have seen it a hell of a lot closer.
Yeah,
yeah,
because
they ended up adding it at Tyson's Corner, right?
Yes.
oh man, if I'd known about that.
Yeah.
Trust me, if anyone here would have loved to have known about that.
Yeah, instead of driving 3 hours each way.
The whole fool me once, fool me twice thing doesn't seem to work on you because that's like pretty much the same thing that both you and I did with Superman Returns when we drove down to Newport News to see it at that terrible planetarium.
No regrets about that decision.
Lots of regrets on my part.
Nothing but regrets.
Yeah. In fact, that might be the reason why I don't hold Superman Returns in nearly as high esteem as like Sam, because I saw it on a planetarium screen, which means
In 3D.
no, not even in 3D, just flat. Well, not flat because it was a planetarium screen, but like fucking inside of a dome. So everyone on the right hand side of the screen looked like they were leaning to the right, and everyone on the
Under
left
the
hand
dome.
of the screen leaning to the left, and it was just awful.
Oh, yeah. Add 3D to that mix, and that was my viewing pleasure for that.
Can't imagine that would have made it any better.
So did you
Rose
go?
tinted glasses.
Did you go under the dome for Batman v Superman?
No, this was a proper FOMAX screening.
Okay. I think I actually. Oh my God! Was it the AMC 24, or was it the AMC theater with
Yes.
Ruby Tuesday in the parking lot?
Yes.
I used to go to that movie theater all the time in college because they used to have $5 movies if it wasn't a Friday, and they also had on weekdays you can get $5 Long Island iced teas, and so I would just get like sloshed, and I would watch movies like Wrath of the Titans or Avatar. So yeah, that's cool. I
As
used to go
you
to that
saw
theater.
the photo I posted, I had a beer easily 3 times my size.
Was that the?
Oh,
was,
yeah.
was it at that Ruby Tuesday?
No, it was at the Plaza Aztec.
Oh, Plaza Azteca. I used to
Yeah.
eat like I told you on Twitter. I used to eat at that Mexican restaurant chain all the time. They had the best chimichangas.
So basically, I was
Deadpool.
reliving
Damn.
your college days.
You were just without all the sex and alcohol poisoning. Maybe some of the alcohol poisoning.
No, definitely alcohol poisoning.
But to be fair, it was Josh at a Superman, Batman vs Superman trailer. So some of the sex.
Yeah, a little bit of sex.
Did you have something shoved up your ass?
Sadly, no.
I mean, this was college, so lots of experimenting.
Yeah,
going around.
yeah. Always, give it a shot.
Although there
Don't
was
knock until you try it.
there was a whiny little child in the line,
My
which
dad
kind of made
listens
me
to this
laugh.
podcast.
When we were all waiting to see the trailer, there was like about 5 of us there at the time, and then this kid, who's got to be about maybe 10 to 15, comes with his mother. He's wearing a very nerd-like shirt. I want to say it was like a self-made Batman vs Superman shirt.
Keep in mind, you're wearing an Asteroids hoodie.
Oh, no, but what this kid said made me laugh is that when he got into line, it's like, of course all these fanboys would be lining up early. I fucking knew it, Mom.
That's like my first day at the Star Wars convention. I was riding the elevator, and oddly enough, not me, but the guy behind me was like, "Oh, look at these fucking nerds! Whoa, is that a Sith Twi'lek?"
And
just like you piece of shit.
But
That's
while the
exactly
kid
what I
is
would have said.
saying this, I just turn around and I stare at the mom and I give her this look of, "You raised this little shit?" And she kind of just,
Yes, I did.
Yes.
you know,
You're
lowers
making
her
me
head in
uncomfortable.
shame.
You're making me uncomfortable,
Please stop looking
young
at me.
man. But yeah. In terms of that trailer, it's just a tease, but it's kind of like
It's been getting a lot of hate.
I'm not a
I
fan.
mean, it's no Force Awakens.
Funny enough, getting a lot of hate from a lot of Star Wars people.
Well,
Because it tried to steal Star Wars thunder.
Because,
it did definitely.
well,
Deborah.
to be fair, Trolls ruined its release.
With the spiky hair.
No,
Yeah.
I meant
Under the bridge.
Yeah.
people
No,
just-
Trolls 2.
Yes, that.
Oh
that
my
film.
God.
Nilbog is goblin spelled backwards.
But no, people filming it early somewhere
In
down
like Brazil.
Oh,
Yeah.
cell phone footage.
Yeah.
and putting it online, and then W being like, "Well, fuck it, we already are gonna lose against Star Wars. Why not release the trailer early and just get shit on more?"
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing of it, it's the cinematography that kills me. It's very reminiscent of like Watchmen, and honestly,
Gee, I wonder why.
well,
all it needed was like some Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
going.
every Zack Snyder film except for his first film are just excessively
Zack Snyder.
dark, like in terms of like
and like fairly monochromatic.
Yeah,
Like
that's-
he chooses one color, or at least one color for like this scene, one
Yeah.
color
Well,
for that
you
scene.
know,
But
Dawn
like,
of the Dead is his most colorful film.
Every director's got a trick. Michael Bay likes to blow up everything.
J.J. Abrams likes to shine lights right into the camera.
Though he said, like, going into episode 7, he's like, I've taken a lot of flack over the years for like lens flare. I'm gonna tone it back.
when
for
yeah,
stuff."
when Star Trek 2 or his second Star Trek came out, he was like, guys, I get it. Yeah, I watched an early cut of this and I realized that it is really hard to
I'm
see
just
what's
waiting
going on.
for the first lightsaber to get off of lens flare and just be like, "Called it."
The originals had lens flares. The prequels had lens flares.
I know, but
It's
I'm
not
just,
unheard of.
I'm just waiting for him to catch shit again for that.
Well, and here's the thing: J.J. Abrams was unfortunately probably dug himself such a big hole that if there isn't excessive lens flare in the movie, like some asshole online's going to be like, "How J.J. Abrams should have directed Star Wars," and it's like nothing but lens flare, and it's like
That's what the first the first trailer.
Yeah.
Someone recut it with lens flares everywhere.
It was great.
When he was first announced as being the director, like someone cut together like, oh, here's what the text crawl is going to be, and it was like the traditional Star Wars thing, and then just lens flare, and you couldn't see any of the text.
yeah.
But
And I was like, fuck
Damned if you
off.
do, damned if you don't.
But so
right.
for the trailer experience, Snyder comes on screen first and explains, thank you all for coming out.
For not watching Brazilian footage.
Unfortunately, he didn't address. Thank you for some of you driving 3.5 hours to come see
Thank
this.
you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Josh Butler. Oh, thank you for coming.
And
Here
then,
is your warm towel to wear your face during the trailer, Mr. Butler.
And here's your warm speculum to be shoved up your ass.
and then, probably would have been experienced a little bit better.
We've even pre-lubed it for you.
Now you're just teasing.
Room
Yeah.
temperature.
Yeah.
Of course.
And then,
We wouldn't have anything less than 97.4 degrees Fahrenheit for your anus.
and then they show us the trailer, and it's pretty exciting.
Now
and-
please enjoy 5 extra seconds of trailer.
Oh yeah.
5 extra seconds of pure
It cuts,
Nirvana.
it cuts to black, and then there's what everyone has seen, and then it comes back and it shows Superman kneeling down in obviously a brick-like building, scowling,
Brick-like building. I like that touch.
and then it cuts to Batman in his bat armor, doing regular Batman face.
Yeah.
And then it has the two just start lunging each other, and then about to throw fists at each other's head, and then cut the black again.
And then the Rocky Balboa versus Apollo just
Yeah, Eye of the Tiger starts playing.
tiger, it's the thrill of the fight.
Turns into
Yeah.
a painting.
Yeah. Becomes a mural in his restaurant.
I actually kind of hope that's in the movie.
Me too. I
Yeah.
love Rocky
That would be
3.
great if that's how it ended.
Yeah.
And so then,
And then all the
Hey,
fanboys are like, "There's no conclusion."
Hey, Superman, you want to ring the bell?
Yeah.
Ding, ding.
and then Snyder comes back
Oh,
on
looking
screen
fly. Looking fly.
and then explains that this film again is something he's very, very proud of, and that he shot some of the scenes, including the one where we see them throw a fist at each other, in native IMAX.
So we can go see it at Udvar-Hazy.
Exactly.
Ooh, hopefully,
Where
hopefully.
part of the movie will obviously be smaller than the screen. And
Yeah,
Sure.
then-
Dark
I
Knight
saw-
style.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw Dark Knight Rises there. It was good.
Yeah.
exactly like that.
Terminator. Transformers 3 was Transformers 2 was a terrible decision to see at Udvar-Hazy because they tried to do that too, but there was far too much quick cutting back and forth between
Oh boy.
IMAX shots and regular shots.
I feel like at some point, just sitting through that film, you have to decide it's just a bad decision.
Yeah,
seeing
Transformers
it.
2.
The whole theater got really excited when they showed the Air and Space Museum in Chantilly. It's everyone was like, we're there, and then they walk to the backyard of the Air and Space Museum, and it's an airplane graveyard, and I was like,
We're
no,
not
that's
there.
Dulles Airport.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist,
But
Mr. Bay.
But yeah, what do you guys think of the Batman v Superman trailer?
I thought it was pretty sweet. I mean, again, I was at the shop when it became official because I was not interested in watching cell phone footage of this trailer because I've been
True.
waiting. I've been waiting for this. For me, it's Batman and Superman over everybody when it comes to the DC Marvel thing. I still love Marvel, but it's Batman and Superman over everyone else. And so the idea of I was just excited to see, honestly, Henry Cavill back in the suit and on screen because Man of Steel has its faults, sure, but I think he's a fantastic Superman. And I'm hoping we get to see, a lot more of his Clark Kent too, because that's something obviously it builds more towards almost the beginning of the Clark Kent persona than it does anything else in Man of
Wouldn't
Steel.
it be great if their first encounter is Clark Kent for whatever reason interviewing Bruce
Interviewing
Wayne?
Bruce Wayne? Yeah, but
I'm sure that's been touched on before in various things.
Yeah, I mean, and the idea of the false god, and some people see him as like a literal like godlike figure, and pray to him, and you have like the Day of the Dead scene, obviously in the trailer, like they're touching him, reaching out to him,
Yeah.
and then you get the people who are very much like, no, dude, you like wrecked half a city, man, and the false god on his chest, that was great with the Superman statue.
Yeah.
But for me, and anyone who's been around me for like since the trailer dropped knows how much how hardcore I've been for this scene. I've been in Ben Affleck's corner since the day he was announced, because I was like, I get it. I can see him as Bruce Wayne. I can see him as Batman. But the moment in the trailer that like just wowed me and is easily my favorite shot of the trailer is when it cuts. Every trailer does this now. The one piano note, the ding, and it has like that like change in drama. They did it in Star Wars too. The Star Wars trailer, ding. It's like the beginning of Runaway by Kanye West. And so,
just like it.
Yeah,
It's the trailer thing du jour, just like how the Hans Zimmer
yeah. So the little ding is in there, and then it cuts to, I'm presuming, Alfred talking about good men going bad and stuff, and you get this shot of Ben Affleck's face, and the look on his, it's not this like obvious scowl, I'm Bruce Wayne, I've paid and suffering. There's this look on his
parents are dead.
Yeah, this look on his face of just a man who's been weighted down by whether it's guilt, pain, everything since he was an 8-year-old boy, 10-year-old boy, whatever you want to for when his parents were killed, and just this weight of protecting the city and making sure he's the person that was there the night, he wants to be the thing that was there that wasn't there the night his parents were killed, and like that weight of this human having to bear this, and then you get the great shot of what he's looking at is the cowl scowling back at him, and so that was just so freaking cool, and then you get it's a little bit of Superman at the beginning, and then it's more of a Batman trailer, because honestly, I mean, the thing is, we've seen Cavill's Superman, so like everyone wants to see what Affleck's Batman's going to look like.
Oh, I love seeing him in the suit.
You get that great shot of him like stepping out of the rubble, like in the suit, and you're like, Jesus Christ, because like Batman's
he's huge.
Yeah, Batman's the kind of guy that like. Batman's a character that if there's like a bank robbery going on, or like a mugging in an alleyway, Batman's one of those guys that's so feared that he should be able to walk up to the criminal and look at him, and the criminal's like, all right, dude, that's good, I'm not going to mess around with you. And so that shot of him in the rubble in the suit, like the comic suit, as in not the armor, was fantastic. Even that little touch of it, you get to see the Batmobile in action, you get to see the Batwing in action, and then of course you get the Dark Knight Returns armor, and you get to hear his voice. And obviously the very smart choice that everyone pretty much figured was going to happen was at least for the armored suit. We don't know, for the actual. I would love to see what Affleck would do with his natural voice as Batman. Yeah. So I'm actually hoping that when he's not in the armor, he gets to use his normal voice.
He doesn't use Iron Man voice.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that he doesn't say a lot either as Batman either. He's not giving monologues out loud.
I would love for a quiet.
Yeah,
Batman.
just staring at you. But anyway, so you get the great shot of him and Superman looking at each other.
There was also one other thing with the Superman segment I didn't understand about the trailer, was when he goes into like an underground bunker and you see 4 soldiers. It obviously don't look like
kneel
standard,
before him.
They don't look like standard military. Kneel before him with assault rifles, and they all have the Superman shield on their shoulders.
Oh, really?
As like patches.
Interesting. Maybe they pray to Superman and they see him as his
police.
Well, you were mentioning, if we're looking at like little quirks in the trailer, you noticed Robin's suit.
Yeah, that's the big thing going on in the shot where Affleck's face that I'm like obsessed with.
People keep saying that, but I've never. I can't see the suit they're talking
about.
Again,
it's if you look really closely, and I don't know for sure that you can see, the glass case, the famous glass casing with the Robin suit. Now it's not clearly the Robin suit, but there's a suit of some kind in there. It looks like boots or a cape or a top. And obviously the Joker picture that was released of Jared Leto's Joker, he's got a dead Robin tattooed on his bicep.
Well, I have heard countless rumors that say that like there's something like that in the film, but I look at that scene and either every single time I've seen it, it's so dark.
I had to have it pointed out to me. It was someone that took a screenshot of it.
I know the scene you're talking about, but they do a really good job of hiding it.
I'm Googling it right now, and one of the first search options or suggested searches was Batman v Superman Robin Justin Bieber.
But another quick shot that I
one.
didn't catch the first time is you get the great every Batman movie. I'm all for every Batman movie for all of existence having a shot like this where he's like a gargoyle or standing on top of a building. I thought it was an antenna the first time I saw it.
So did I.
And then you watch it again, he's got a rifle slung over his shoulder.
Yeah, and a lot of people are raising shit about that too. It's kind of like, wait, no, Batman gun, I'm done.
Well, you
He's
get
shooting people
it's
now.
Funny.
That's great.
It's funny because you get that thing where they're like, clearly the source inspiration for this film is The Dark Knight Returns, but riddle me this: why is he using a rifle? And it's like, well, if
you actually read
The Dark Knight Returns,
Yeah.
you would see it. You
in
know,
like the first fucking issue.
and again, he doesn't use it as like a conventional rifle,
He
but
fires like a grapple from it.
But
Yeah.
it's fantastic, and
Yeah.
that image is
I feel like a lot of it's taken from The Dark Knight Returns. The idea that I feel like, he retires because Robin's dead. Because of the
that
Joker.
makes perfect
that's
sense.
I mean that's
and
a
it's
fantastic
and
thing.
it's
Yeah.
Superman that brings him back out. That's interesting to me.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, and also we get our first audio
Oh yeah,
reveal of Jesse Eisenberg's Lex.
Lex Luthor. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's one of the people that gives the little talk bit.
Yeah, devils
Yeah.
don't come from underground; they come from the sky.
And there's always the
Yep.
rumor that Jenna Malone's going to be Carrie Kelly.
I've heard that too, because like she showed up to like a premiere, and her hair was very Carrie Kelly.
If
Yeah.
we get a Carrie Kelly in the film, I will just shit myself right there.
That's your
In
thing.
love.
Yeah. That's your thing up the ass that makes you just semen out.
Yes,
Okay.
All right,
that Robin.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, the cinematography's made me a little wary, but
I'm psyched for it, man. I mean,
I'm obviously gonna see
I
it.
think the cinematography
Yeah.
will fit better as a Batman film.
Yeah, give me a full trailer. At the end of the summer, or the end of the year.
yeah.
The
The trailer, though, again, I think it's something where I've watched the trailer so many times just because I'm so excited, like we all are, just to see the movie, and I keep watching just to see, just the images and the video of this movie that I'm super super excited for.
now, Chris, you haven't commented so much. What do you think of the teaser?
I liked it. It's getting me a bit more excited. I was only able to watch it, because of the same problems I had with my laptop. I was only able to watch it on my cell phone, and I haven't gotten around to checking it out on a bigger video device just yet. But I mean, it's it's gotten me a bit more excited for the movie. Like I feel like I've been fairly noted as being kind of on the fence about it, mostly because of all the characters that they keep throwing into it, more than anything else. But one of the things that I really dug from the trailer was that they're kind of setting it up to seem like Batman decides to go hunting for Superman, and I really liked that concept. I really liked that idea.
I also, I like the idea of Batman. Again, this is a Batman that's been around. Like he's seen some stuff. This
Been
isn't
around the block.
Yeah, this isn't year one Batman. So the idea of him seeing a potential in Superman, obviously, but also being like, I got to rein this guy in. I got to show him how it's done.
Kind of also
Because
being a
Pa
little.
Kent didn't do shit to help him
also
be a
seeing
good
this godlike
person.
figure and kind of being like, I gotta be a little careful.
Well,
with
his
this one.
first thing is like, who's this guy coming out of nowhere and causing all this damage? Where I've been doing this thing on my own for a while, and again, so many people when the trailer first came out, these are the people when Man of Steel came out, they were like, fuck Superman, look at all the destruction he caused. And the trailer comes out and they're like, stop being so mean to Superman. And it's like, Superman's going to be just fine, all right? He's not going to be the villain of this movie. And it's clearly, like you said, it's called Dawn of freaking Justice, man. Like, it's going to be something where, yes, Batman is not the touchy-feely, friendly kind of guy where he's going to be like, let's be friends now. Are you friends? Yeah, are you friends? Shake hand, please.
Superman just puts his fist through his skull.
Yeah. And so,
End movie.
yeah. So, it's going to be really interesting to see the quote-unquote friendship or
Or how they come to terms. With
well,
each other.
it's more of what did Frank Miller refer to it as? It's not a
Frenemies?
friendship. It's
I'm sure Frank Miller called them
frenemies. Yeah. Well, it's like Batman works with them because he knows, it'll help with forming the Justice League and get the job done. But he's just, they're not going to go out and like have drinks afterwards. Maybe the sad thing is, and that's one of I think the underlying beauties that I don't feel like people miss, because it's not like this super under the surface kind of thing in The Dark Knight Returns, the graphic novel of it, is that Batman's kind of done with Clark Kent during the book, but Superman always, even to like the last second of what he thinks is Bruce Wayne's life, is still wants to be the friend to Bruce. And one of the great kind of lump in the throat moments for me whenever I was watch the great animated film or the book or reading the book is when Bruce, for all intents and purposes, dead in Clark's hands, and a guy goes up to grab him, and Clark's like, "Get your hands off him! Do not touch him." Like, he's still protectful of this friend, even though Bruce has pretty much pushed him aside and kind of lost basically respect for him. Even almost flat out says, you become this government stooge, man. Like,
Yeah, doesn't he have the line of like, "You'll say yes to anyone in a badge or a uniform"?
Well, he
or
says
something like that.
He goes something about bringing in the bad guys, and Bruce is like, "We are the bad guys, Clark. We always have been." And so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Again, it's only a minute or whatever trailer, but I'm so excited for this movie.
Now, speaking of Frank Miller and Batman, he's coming back with The Master Race sometime next year.
Great title.
Yeah, Dark Knight 3, The Master Race.
Master Race.
With Brian Azzarello. And it's assumed to be like a rotating cast of artists. 8 issues bi-monthly. I think it starts in September, October.
Last half of this month, later half of this year, yeah.
Yeah. So,
it sounds like they've been working on it because, Azzarello has been talking about it's been so fun plotting this with Frank Miller. And Azzarello's a great writer in his own right. It's funny because, Sam, you and I were like just talking about this fairly recently. Like, man,
it was always rumored.
Yeah, whatever. You think that final chapter of the Dark Knight saga is ever going to come out? And then, boom. The internet hits, and I was just, I was at work when this happens, and I was like freaking out, like running around, and
just running around the shop, like
running. Frank Miller's back, and so many people like that I encountered were just like, so what? And I was like, yo, I love Frank Miller. I mean, I love Batman, but for me, I mean, it doesn't get it doesn't get close when it comes to Frank Miller Batman for me, like the way he writes Batman. I love it. And so, again, I even love The Dark Knight Strikes Again. I love that book. It's my pick of the week right now. But I'm so excited to see because, Frank Miller is always very much of the time, in terms of how because he's always a different, every time he's written Batman, it's been very different. And I think he's been a very different mindset, older and wiser. Some may say he's crazier. But he's going to do some like variants and stuff for it too. I can't wait to see him just draw Batman again too. That's going to be a lot of fun because I love the crazier he gets with the art. I love it. Just ginormous hands, skinny bodies, fat bat, fuzzy Batman because he's been beaten so badly. Like
no face.
Just it's just like he just scribbled really fast and he's like he's just been beaten senseless. But yeah, and he even tweeted about it. And like I followed him for the longest time and he never tweeted anything, because I was like, yeah, that's so Frank Miller. But he's back tweeting again too. But I don't know. I'm so excited to see what he has planned because he always goes somewhere different when he writes Batman. Love it or hate it, every book is a different take on Batman and something that most people never think about. It's not just the standard Batman story. And those standard Batman stories are normally great, but I'm very interested to see what he's going to do with it.
I feel like the Master Race kind of alludes to Superman and Wonder Woman's child. Like they'll be the new Master Race because they're just so superior.
I mean, he introduces in The Dark Knight Strikes Again, it's like the Justice League. I mean, there's a lot of characters. I mean, there's plenty of characters in Returns, but I mean, you get the redemption of Superman, you get the Green Arrow with the mechanical arm, you get the Question, you get
Hawk and Dove.
Yeah, you get the Atom, you get Green Lantern, you get everyone.
Manhunter, yeah.
The Atom being in the Petri dish was fantastic. He thinks he's on a desert island for years or however long, and it turns out he was in a Petri dish the whole time.
Yeah.
And he said that he fell in love writing the Carrie Kelly character, and so to see because again she's Robin in the first one or in Returns, and she's Catgirl in Strikes Again. So it'll be interesting to see what her deal is too.
Yeah. And then we had kind of alluded on the Jared Leto Joker.
Oh, yeah.
We finally, and just in time for the Joker's 75th anniversary of his creation, we now know what Suicide Squad Joker looks like. And I have to say, I'm interested.
Oh, me too.
I'm intrigued. Let's see where they go with this.
It's another thing of where DC just can't seem to catch a break when it comes to anything related to Batman recently.
They're taking a lot of flack, but I'm for it.
Yeah, I'm a little the kind of weirded out with the direction that they went visually with it. I'm not crazy about I wasn't crazy about like Joker with the giant dragon tattoo in All-Star Batman and Robin: The Boy Wonder. So like seeing him with more
Frank Miller
tattoos,
book?
yeah. Seeing him with like a bunch of tattoos, instantly I was like, ugh. But
You're on the computer and you're like, oh, cool new Joker.
it's almost exactly what it was like.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like he like the pose that he struck like really shows that like he's getting into the character. You know,
It's like Killing Joke style.
exactly.
Yeah, and
So I'm intrigued.
Doesn't look like he's wearing face paint anymore. It looks like
Yeah.
he's legitimately like bleached.
Yeah, like animated series.
It is funny though. Again, like I'm totally cool with all like the ribbing of like making the jokes of like all the different like Photoshop stuff
The
they've
Home
done.
Alone jokes.
But it's like, are we, and again, Chris made a good point because we talked about it on Twitter. But it's like, and I know it happens all the time. But I'm like, are we seriously doing this again? Where people again are just like, Jared Leto's Joker seriously has already ruined it. And it's like we've done this before.
Yeah.
We've done this with Heath Ledger, and look how look at the egg on your
I
face
was
on that
team.
one.
I was, much like how we're kind of team Affleck here. Like I was team Ledger right from the get go. Like I was like this might sound crazy, guys, but I remember in 10 Things I Hate About You, like he was kind of kooky. Like I can see him playing a good Joker, and then like fucking a year later, fanboys are going nuts about how he's like the greatest Joker that they've ever seen.
and then Burton's Batman came along, and it was like, wait, you're casting Mr. Mom as our title character?
Yeah.
Everyone,
Oh,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
flack
Getting
that
death
Keith
threats
took,
for it,
Sorry,
yeah.
the way that you said that, I thought you were implying that
Yeah, Jack Nicholson was Mr. Mom.
Yeah, or that Tim Burton's Batman came after the Dark Knight.
Well,
I was like,
I mean,
I was
this
like,
has
no,
been-
this was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's my point. Is
Yeah.
that this has been going on every
Yeah.
single time they cast any characters for any Batman film.
Tim Burton alone, like when he was first announced as the director, people were like, "What the fuck? The guy that did Pee-wee's Big Adventure is doing Batman."
Well, you know what's funny too is like look at
that
how
was like his only credit at the
look
time.
at how far
Yeah.
we've come. Where like Jack Nicholson gets cast with a Joker, and people are like, Jack Nicholson is going to play the Joker, that guy from the comics, and now it's become that guy's going to play is going to play the Joker.
Academy Award-winning Jared Leto is going to play the Joker.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, it's flipped now, where it's
Mr.
like,
Nobody is gonna play the Joker.
but it's become that thing now where it's like, no, the Joker is the thing you don't want to mess
Right,
up.
right,
As
yeah,
before,
yeah.
it was Jack Nicholson, like this.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my god!
Jack,
And
Jack
now
Nicholson's gonna lower himself
Yeah.
to play a comic book
and now it's
character?
like, good luck playing the Joker. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. And I feel like Heath Ledger's performance somewhat did that, where people are kind of like, well, you get that thing where like the internet trolls are like, wait, let's wait and watch it and see what happens, as opposed to just one single picture.
I mean, I feel like you could literally... movie studios could find someone in the world that is the perfect Bruce Wayne, up to the point where like his...
he literally is a millionaire who is fighting crime.
Cast him in the film,
And
and
they
he
would
does
still-
an amazing job, but the second they cast him, is like, oh my god, he's god awful. And then come Academy
he's got
times,
one
he wins
gray
all
hair.
the awards.
Yeah.
He's got one gray hair. He's not good enough.
Yeah.
I don't see that gray hair in Jim Lee's portrayal drawing of him in Hush, so and again, that's a losing battle dealing with all that crap, just
In this movie, he played a left-handed character. Batman is right-handed.
yeah.
Yeah, and also a lot of things people don't seem to realize also is that this is just the Joker for this film.
Also, another thing people don't seem to notice is that it's fucking fiction.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know
Wait,
how
he's not real?
you can play the Joker like any way you want because he doesn't fucking exist.
Also, I saw people being like,
And the Joker's been worse, too.
yeah,
Yeah. I saw the Batman
Yeah.
where he's like a monkey that can like walk on ceilings
Didn't he become immortal recently?
in the comics.
Yeah, so...
Though he might not be telling the truth.
I
Yeah.
saw
Oh, well, what a surprise.
I saw a thing where it was like, I can't believe this. They've already disgraced and disrespected the Joker. I'm like, the Joker kills children
Yeah.
in the comics, so
He takes out an entire Boy Scout troop in the Dark Knight.
I can
Returns.
totally see a dude just being like tatted out,
He-
just looking like a psychopath because he's the Joker.
Well, Joker should have like a repulsive quality, right? You shouldn't want to sit next to the Joker.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, hey, guys, remember, the Joker nuked Metropolis.
He tries. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he does in
Injustice.
Injustice.
Yeah.
And then he gets
Yeah.
the shit punched out of his gut
Yeah.
Literally.
One of my favorite comic book panels of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's also someone was saying like the grill, having like the teeth. It's like probably because they've been knocked out so many times by Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. His teeth don't look
And also,
perfect.
if I remember correctly, he is signed on to be in the Justice League movie. So it's 2 movies
For Joker?
for Joker.
Ooh.
Yeah. If I remember correctly.
I'm
That might just be a
excited.
rumor that I heard.
And Common is cast in the Suicide Squad. It'd be cool if he was Black Manta.
Oh.
That'd be...
That's Kevin Smith's favorite comic book villain?
Really?
Is Black Manta, yeah.
He was voiced by Ted Cassidy from the guy that played Lurch in the Addams Family on Super Friends.
It'd be cool with him being Michael J. White.
Yeah.
But then again, I want Michael J. White
Come
to
back
be...
as Spawn.
Oh my God. Michael J. White and Idris Elba is everyone.
Yeah.
Them sharing the role of Bond,
Michael
even though
J.
they
White.
don't look alike.
Yeah. Just tag team. But
Yeah.
the
Yo,
Do it
tag
like,
in.
do
I
it
got
like
this
the
scene.
Olsen twins.
now just real quick, there's been a buttload of trailers, and actually, did you know that butt is an actual unit of medieval measurement? A buttload is about 216 gallons. So I don't know if there's been 216 gallons worth of
So
trailers.
Sam is 1 buttload
I am 216 gallons.
in porn terms.
Yeah. The just real quick, what do you guys think of the Ant-Man and Fantastic Four trailers?
Ant-Man, I'm all in for Ant-Man since the first trailer when it came out. But the second one had some really great humor moments with the train. Like you see like all like this destruction, and then it zooms out and just like 2 little trains like dink and fall over. I hope they kind of mess around with that a lot in it. And like I said, I'm all psyched for like Paul Rudd to become like the next big thing in terms of the Marvel universe. I mean, everyone knows who Paul Rudd is, and they should.
Who?
Yeah. And I dig the suit, all that kind of stuff. And then Fantastic Four was. I use Fantastic a lot just in my. So I'm, not trying to say that the
Was
trailer's
Fantastic Four fantastic?
but it really was. And it's funny too because you get a lot of people who were shitting on the first one, like this movie sucks, it's gonna suck, and then they see the second trailer and like, Jesus Christ, this looks pretty sweet, and it does. The second trailer looks really, really cool. So I am very interested in seeing how that one turns out. So
It might just be that I don't really care for either the Fantastic Four or Ant-Man, like themselves, but like I'm psyched enough that like I'm gonna go see them. Like I know I'm gonna see them. They look well done, but like I'm not like the.
well, here's something, and this isn't taken away from Age of Ultron at all, and in terms of like my excitement, the Marvel movie I'm more excited for this year is Ant-Man. So. That's all I gotta say about
something.
That. Yeah.
With Ant-Man, I was super psyched for it back when Edgar Wright was the one that was attached to it, and like he was the one that like made it happen. And all
Joss
that shit.
Whedon called it the best script he had read in the Marvel.
Yeah, and then Edgar Wright, for whatever, I didn't read into like what happened, what caused the falling out, but like Edgar Wright no longer attached. I'm no longer as excited. Like I really wanted to see an Edgar Wright movie. I'm not feeling whoever it is now. I don't even know who took over.
Peyton Reed.
I unfortunately don't know who.
Chris,
don't have any reference.
You're kind of hitting it on the nail on the head of why he was no longer attached to it. That at the time when he was announced for it, it was going to be a very Edgar Wright movie. And then by the time the film was actually set to be made and starting along, Marvel decided, we really don't want an Edgar Wright film in our universe. We want something to fit this certain way, and you're not really helping that along, so we're going to kindly ask you to step down.
Well, boo to that.
Yeah.
And then also, I've just never really cared about the Fantastic Four. Like they don't really do anything for me. Unfortunately, my biggest exposure to them was the 2 previous films, which I'm sure didn't really help. Although I thought that the casting, 3/4 of the casting in those movies were spot on.
Yeah.
For what I feel the characters were portrayed in the movies, at least. I don't know about in universe, but like I thought Chris Evans was a great Johnny Storm. What's his name for Ben Grimm?
Jamie Bell.
Yeah, from The Wire, right? Or from
Michael Chiklis.
No.
Michael Chiklis, yeah.
Oh, it's
The original.
Michael B. Jordan is on The Wire, and he's Johnny Storm. It was Jamie Bell is the Thing. My mistake.
But yeah,
We're
from,
talking about
talking
the
about
original
from the last two.
Oh, from the original two? Yeah, Michael Chiklis from The Shield.
Yeah, The Shield. The Wire, The Shield. It's all the same. But like I thought, he did a great job. Mr. Fantastic was all right.
Look the role.
Ian Griffith, yeah.
Yeah. But the as much as I love the kid from Whiplash, I feel like
Miles Teller.
Yeah, he looks like a little kid. And I don't want little kid
to
Reed
be fair,
Richards.
They kind of all look like.
What's the
kids.
line where he's just like, he knows the answer to questions we haven't even thought to ask yet? I was
Yeah.
like, that's a badass way to sum up
But I
Reed
want
Richards.
I want Hal Jordan, bleached side hair
Oh.
Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Parallax hair.
I want old man Reed
For
Richards.
the Ant-Man trailer, for me, I love the humor in it. I love seeing the scene of Yellow Jacket about to get run over by the Thomas the Tank Engine, and then they pull back and the little toy train just falls off the track after hitting him.
Yeah.
And I think it's smart that also Marvel is going with Scott Lang instead of Hank Pym, considering the kind of bad history Pym has in the Marvel universe.
Everyone references the Janet Van Dyne slap, which
Well, he kind of was just a jackass several times, other than
he's
one
always
slap.
he's always had anger issues, and of course spousal abuse is a big thing. But no,
Huge defining characteristic of him.
well, the thing is, it only happens that once, and you could argue, yes, it only takes once for it to be like fucked up, because it is. But like, no Marvel hero is untarnished, and it's interesting because that became like the one thing that like Hank Pym was like known for. Not even creating Ultron.
Yeah.
Tony Stark's got that now.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. So
Which says a lot of Marvel just kind of covering all their bases by just really him being the mentor this time and not the actual hero.
yeah.
Well, and also like isn't he just like an older character? Wouldn't Hank Pym be the old Ant-Man if it's a contemporary movie?
And it's kind of alluded that he was the Ant-Man before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
well,
it's his suit.
again, it all depends on what universe. I mean, we could have had Tony Stark in the Vietnam era.
We
still.
could have had Miles Morales as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was talk, Kevin Feige was someone asked him about that while he was doing press for Age of Ultron. He's like, maybe down the line, but we really do want it to be Peter Parker from Jump, and then maybe down the line we can introduce Miles Morales.
I just don't want any more solo Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
sucks to be you.
Yeah, I know,
The,
right? I don't want another origin story.
And-
It's not going to be an origin.
Good.
And the Fantastic Four trailer, I always keep thinking, why the hell didn't they lead with this one? Because this one doesn't make you really question it. This one makes you believe, okay, this is a Ultimates version of the Fantastic Four. I'm not left wondering, what exactly are we trying to do with this movie?
But it's a movie. It exists in its own universe. How?
Yeah.
Not to jump on you. This I'm getting up on a soapbox, yelling at every single fanboy in the world. How can you read 12 different titles of the same character, where each title more or less is its own universe, but then when a movie comes out, you can't handle it straying away a little bit from any of those universes and creating its own? Shame on you.
Preach it, brother Chris.
Yeah, because they do
Preach it.
exist separate,
/rant.
Yeah. In fact, I kind of get nervous when I see Marvel try to imitate the movies more,
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's not what it was for decades. And then you get like Secret Wars where everything will come out looking like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it'll just be like tits. And I mean tits in the bad sense.
Yeah, not
No
the
way.
tits.
Not titties,
Titties.
but just tits.
Tits, like testicles, balls.
Tuts.
Yeah.
Tut tut.
What does it say about me that like titties is awesome and balls is like the major point of appreciation? I don't appreciate my own genitals.
Titties are higher, balls are lower. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah. So it's like, yeah, they totally exist separate. Like, do I mind that Fantastic Four is going Ultimate Fantastic Four, and yet I know just because because that's how it works, that it won't be completely Ultimate Fantastic Four. It'll be inspired by Ultimate Fantastic Four, and I'm fine with that. Do I mind that Batman v Superman is going to be different than regular Batman or Dark Knight Returns Batman, which are separate universes? No, because it's still cool, it's still Batman. According to Joss Whedon's like, well, now that I'm done with my Marvel contract, I've been, kind kind of like curious about, jumping onto the other side of the fence. And he was like, the character that I'd want to do the most at this point would be Batman.
Oh, I love a joke he gave in that interview. It's like, hey guys, I got a bunch of really cool jokes I want to do. Oh, that's right. This isn't the kind of thing you guys do here,
yeah,
is it?
because apparently there was a memorandum sent out, or a moratorium sent out by Warner Brothers, like no jokes in our DC movies. And it's like, do you not look across like the street, like over across at Burbank, where they're like fairly lighthearted and family friendly? Does that not appeal? It really is a case
Did
of.
you guys see Guardians?
Yeah,
How much money that brought in?
It really is a case of Warner Brothers taking like all the wrong lessons from The Dark Knight.
Well, and I think they're probably like taking the Joel Schumacher years a little bit too close to heart. It's like, oh, the fans really didn't like those, and those were fun, so no more fun.
Yeah, they're mistaking humor for camp.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not what's going on. And like, Age of Ultron's probably going to gross like $2 billion, and it's just going to be like, oh.
It's already making millions overseas.
It's already made, okay. We haven't even seen a North American release at the time of this recording, and it's already grossed in its first weekend over $200 million.
It's already been released overseas?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, shit.
Yeah.
Let's go on a trip.
Yeah, they've been
hey, you don't need to
doing
twist
that.
my arm to go to
By
Europe.
the time we get there and come back, it'll be released here in the States.
Yeah.
But let's do it!
Yeah.
Industry!
But yeah, over $200 million already. That's fucking wild. And it hasn't even been released in China and Japan yet, and those are huge markets.
And this is even with Germany boycotting the film, too.
Only the smaller cinemas.
Yeah.
Because Marvel increased their percentage they want from the distribution. They want over 50% of the ticket revenue to go straight to them.
Which, to be fair, they want a lot of money.
Yeah.
Who can blame them?
I've worked at a movie theater. Here in the States, it's like 90% goes back.
Yeah. It's much hot. Well, within the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then after that, it tapers off to like 47% or something. But, yeah. So it's going to be, I don't know. I have a feeling next week we're going to be talking about Age of Ultron. Keep your ears open.
Ultron.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That giant.
You really think so?
I mean, it does get released.
You guys don't have to watch it.
yeah, no one's forcing you.
Yeah.
You are on a show called Geek Out.
I will talk about it, and you
My
can be like,
ticket's already been bought for
yeah,
it. So
you're seeing it, Tyson's Corner. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you're seeing it midnight premiere, right?
I think so.
Not the early, like the 10 o'clock showings or anything.
You have no idea when you're seeing it?
I don't. The ticket was purchased for me. I was told I'd be sitting fourth row in 3D, so I'm expecting my anus, eyes, and ears to bleed.
Oh, well.
Okay. Okay. All right. I can get behind that.
There you go.
I don't know if you want to be behind that if his
Oh.
anus is bleeding.
Well, I'm just gonna hold my tongue for the best.
Yeah, I bet you will.
Yeah, but the one movie we can talk about as we're wrapping up, Ex Machina.
Yes.
Ooh.
So we got the chance to see Ex Machina minus Jake, who's working yesterday, and
Always at work.
yeah,
That's right.
that's where he finds out about all the cool stuff.
That's why I see all the
apparently.
trailers.
Yeah. Can I say that's just Ex Machina is my favorite sci-fi film with the choreographed dance number?
Yeah. Oh my God, that was such a great scene.
That should have signaled a hell of a lot more. That one scene that should have
Right.
told a lot more.
I mean, it told me plenty, without spoiling anything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that was the scene where I was like, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Sort of.
It didn't register with me, so spot on to you, Chris, for picking up on that.
Tut to you, my lord.
But yeah, it's written and directed by Alex Garland, who wrote Dredd. It's his directorial debut. Phenomenal looking film.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best. Like, it's a sci-fi film that reminds me why I love the genre. For me, more so than Interstellar.
So this is what's going to fund the sequel to Dread, right?
It's just dead. Dredd is dead.
Don't kill my dreams, Sam.
Everyone else did. Everyone who didn't see the film in theaters.
Well, fuck him.
Yeah.
No, don't give him the satisfaction.
Yeah. But it's great. I mean, Oscar Isaac. This has got to be a great year for Oscar Isaac. He was in A Most Violent Year with Jessica Chastain. He's in Episode 7. He's in Ex Machina. He's Apocalypse in the next X-Men film.
He's going to be in episode 8.
Yeah. I mean, he
Hopefully.
probably 9.
Well, I mean, it's on IMDb. It says it.
yeah.
So take that with whatever grain of salt you need.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, and I think I mentioned this yesterday, not many main Star Wars characters die in midstream.
Yeah,
like in terms of mid-trilogy.
They either die right away, like Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul, or they die in the third one, or they just carry on
Yeah.
like wayward sons.
Carry on.
Or they die, air quotes, and then go on to a cartoon series like Darth Maul.
Oh, I get. Yeah. This,
Okay.
yeah, Clone Wars. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
With the legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Those legs, the Clone Wars legs that he had, which are canon, because Clone Wars is canon, were better than the Dark Horse comic book where he comes back and he has Dr. Arliss Lovelace spider legs.
Well, he first has spider legs when the first time you see him in Clone Wars, and then I think in
Yeah.
the second or third episode they give him the regular prosthetics.
Fair enough. Like the chicken legs that have the backwards knees.
Yeah. But no, I mean, Ex Machina, fantastic film.
Yes. No. Beautiful.
I can't.
Best Frankenstein movie I've ever seen.
Fucking thing creeped me out like the first Alien movie. You know, like very claustrophobic, very very like kind of like dark, very
It's very
atmospheric.
subtle.
Yeah, and just beautifully done. And like there's even like that Blade Runner-esque scene where you're like, is everyone a robot?
Yeah, that
There's
thing.
here's the thing.
Yeah, I felt the entire audience cringe during that scene.
I was sitting next to Josh and he was like, and to be fair, so was I. I was with, like,
no, and I wasn't being. I could hear Josh squirming from it.
Yeah.
I wasn't going so bad, but like I was still like,
But
Oh, and they reference my favorite
Yeah,
film of
right.
all time.
of course, yeah.
Oh my! So at one point, I forget all the people's names, but the
main
character
star.
it like grabs one of the phones, like he's gonna call out of the complex, and Oscar Isaac is like, who are you gonna call? And then I just hear Josh is sitting next to me. Josh is in between me and Sam at the screening, and I just hear Josh go, and then like there's kind of like a pause where like the main character doesn't know what to say, and he's like, and Oscar Isaac's like, Ghostbusters.
It's a movie. Ever see it? Yeah.
and Josh is just like,
But yeah, it was. I mean, everyone does a great job. Here's a fun fact: the original choice for the main robot Ava was supposed to be, or they first approached Felicity Jones.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna say Felicity Jones, I'm gonna lose it.
But they didn't get her.
Dang.
Yeah,
they lost her.
I have to say, also seeing the film, it kind of felt like something that like the character Tony Stark would do.
kind of.
It's
more
totally,
a more
it's totally
sociopathic.
a prequel to Age of Ultron.
Well, it's a more. It's
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's a more sociopathic Tony Stark, really.
Well,
Oscar
like
Isaac's
if he never,
character.
I guess if he never sobered up, we just
and
stayed
got
in the
more
bottle.
closed off.
Yeah, because he's this like Tony Stark's a social butterfly. He likes the attention, right?
Yeah, but he also his earlier iterations one hell of a demon in a bottle.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but you don't have to. You don't
I
have
mean,
to be a sociopath to be
yeah.
a drunk.
He straight up has his name in lights in the Avengers,
Yeah,
like
he's-
in the middle of the Manhattan skyline.
Yeah. Tony Stark's an attention whore. Oscar Isaac's character is a shut-in.
Yeah, he has like a chorus of dancing girls in the beginning of Iron Man 2 and shows them off like a sexual Willy Wonka.
To be fair, Oscar Isaac has not a
Yeah.
chorus of dancing girls, but
well, it's only for that's an audience of one too.
But what I mean is, like, I feel like if Stark never had the Avengers, never got over his addiction,
never became Iron Man.
Well,
It's like the later
yeah.
years.
If he never became Iron Man,
Basically,
would
if
up
Tony Stark
like
didn't
this.
have the escape, or not the escape, the self medication of being Iron Man, because I would totally argue that becoming Iron
Yeah.
Man is his like. To him is just like, taking drugs for other people, like that's how he gets
He's
a
an
high.
adrenaline
like
junkie,
if he
yeah.
was never kidnapped from that arms demonstration and just went on in his life, eventually he would downward spiral into what Oscar Isaac's character was. In this
Maybe.
film.
I mean, Oscar Isaac's much more antisocial. He doesn't really listen during conversations. He doesn't really, he's not in his element when he's with people.
But I see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
Tom.
I understand. I can see the comparison, sure,
Yeah.
but
or
yeah,
if anything, maybe a mix of Tony and Hank Pym.
yeah, in the comics.
Yes.
But yeah, I would say Ex Machina so far is my favorite film of the year. I've seen two. So
I think I could agree. I think I could agree with you there on that.
And
I'm
you've
trying to
seen 3,
I'm trying to remember what other movies I've seen, but like there's
Furious 7 and Kingsman.
and Wedding Ringer.
Yes. So it's better than The Wedding Ringer.
Yeah, all the barely snuck in.
Just skims over the top. But yeah,
To be fair, The Wedding Ringer was great.
Yeah, it feels like forever since I've seen Kingsman.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like January, right?
February.
It was
It was
our
a-
Valentine's Day date.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was in competition with 50 Shades.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm really glad I had forgotten that right until now. Thank
Yeah.
you, Sam.
no problem. I like to dredge up the worst elements of the human experience.
And
You're
you succeed.
welcome.
But yeah, I highly recommend it. So yeah, definitely check it out. And of course, we'll be back next week with more stuff and, of course, an Age of Ultron.
Wa-da-da.
This has been another installment of Catching Up. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
I'm Josh.
And we'll see you guys later.
Thank you very much.
Good night, Eric Bana.